Hello, hello, my beautiful people. Thanks so much for stopping by my channel. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Grady and I am the counselor and transformational coach at Butterfly Project. So as I was preparing to do a different video on the nervous system, which I'm still going to do, I was actually inspired to do this video instead for today. And I just noticed that I am wearing all green. Of course, that wasn't by, accident. I do like to color coordinate, and I'm still, wearing my St. Patrick's Day nails. And so yeah, this is actually something that has come up in a lot of the sessions with my clients this week, as well as for myself. Because where I am, if you're part of the Northern Hemisphere, then you know that winter can be really long. We're stuck inside a lot. There just isn't a lot of greenery. And although, we just had, the start of spring, and although I absolutely love spring, it is also a time that I know, where I am, there's been so much snow, and so there's a lot of like gray, and winter, it's a lot of white, and we're just not seeing colors. We're just, not seeing a lot of the greenery. Okay. And so this is what, kind of sparked when I was, looking in the mirror just before coming on and realizing, I'm wearing all this green, and, it's a really big, time for us to really, start planting, plants and things like that. So I was thinking about that. And then, a lot of the clients, I do talk about using nature as a tool for healing. And we all need nature. This is why, going for walks outside, even in the wintertime when there isn't greenery, right? Because we're getting, the fresh air and, possibly sunlight and things like that. But, it really is important for us to spend time around nature, to spend time, touching, greenery and leaves, just being around, plants and trees are really helpful for us, because not only the oxygen that it gives us and takes the carbon monoxide from us in, that sense, but it is very healing on an energetic level when we're talking about things like, anxiety and depression, any kind of negative energies, any negativity that you could be feeling. Plants, trees, nature, right? The grass, all of that, nature really helps to heal us. So this was the other reason, and it's so interesting. If you guys, have worked with me or know me, I do have a lot of, stones that I have, healing stones. And I'm just noticing that two that are in front of me right now are also green. So this is a really big message, I think, for you guys, is maybe saying that, it's been a while. Like, it's really important for us to connect to nature. So do what you can, even though it's not green yet. It will be soon, because we are in spring and you might be in the Southern Hemisphere. So you might be going into winter, but spend time in nature. That's the main message here, is to spend time in nature as much as possible. Make it a regular habit, a daily habit. Okay. The other thing is for us to also eat a lot of greens. Greenery is really important for our diets, right? That chlorophyll that we get from it, the fiber, and all the other, nutrients, vitamins, and minerals that we get from greens, right? So whatever you can do to get more greens into your diet, and also for you to spend more time in nature, spending more time around, the greenery, right? Plants, trees, things like that. The other thing that sparked, this video talking about this and wearing the green and all that kind of stuff, with St. Patrick's Day and that, I, get really affected. Like, I'm from, my heritage, or my family is from the Mediterranean, right? And so being in winter here, it's a little difficult, and it gets kind of long, right? And so March comes around, it's like, hey, I'm like done with winter, I need green, I need nature, but it feels good, the weather starts to warm up and the snow is melting and that kind of thing. So, we get excited for it, but at the same time, still not a lot of greenery, right? And so where I am, they've actually built something, kind of like a massive greenhouse. And a lot of people have talked about it, and I hadn't gone to it yet. And I finally decided, to do self-care for me one day. And I went, and guys, I was in there for like 2 hours. I didn't want to leave. I wanted to like live in there. Just in the first 5 minutes, I felt so good. Also, they have a waterfall in there, and it was just absolutely breathtaking. Hearing the sounds, and there's birds in there, hearing the sounds, and just taking in all of that nature, and then having like the different climate when I was in there. Thankfully I was wearing a tank top underneath my sweater, so I could take my sweater off, thank God, because it was really, really humid in there. And there's like two different, sections, one that's less humid, but just being in a different atmosphere, being in a different environment, being around so much nature, like it's a really large place, and so much different plants, and seeing the koi fish in the pond, and like it was just beautiful. Like it was like an indoor little forest, right? Rainforest or something like that. And it just felt so good. So my message is, get out into nature, go outside, go for walks, walk around the block. If you have pets, taking, your dog for a walk, if you have a dog. If not, just like I said, just going for a walk, walking your kids to school maybe instead of driving them. I'm starting to do that. So anything to kind of, get active, but also get nature, surrounding you, right? Getting out into nature, experiencing nature. If you have something where you are like that, where there's like a greenhouse, or I don't think it's called a greenhouse, I forget what it's called, but anyway, if you have anything like that, go to that. It's so worth it. And where I am, it's not very expensive to get, a membership. And I finally realized, like, I need that, for the winter. Our winters are so long, and I'm so grateful. And I believe that's probably the motivation for them actually building that here. Was probably because we have such harsh, long winters. And so, our winters are very cold where I am. And so because of that, we're really kind of, isolated inside a lot, even though we do go out every day, typically, right? Running errands and taking our kids to school and all that kind of stuff, going to work, right? But we're not really experiencing that kind of nature, right? So to be in that, and that's why a lot of people go away in the winter, but to have access to something like that, right, to go to on a weekly basis, like, is amazing. So I'll be doing that going into the future, and I think I'm going to encourage everybody that I know to do that, including you. Like I said, if you have something like that where you are, sorry guys, there's a little fly in here, but anyway, springtime nature, like I said. So yeah, and if you don't have that, doesn't matter, just get out into nature. So eat more greens, get out into nature, spend time in nature. I cannot stress enough how healing it is. The effects that I felt from 2 hours of being just surrounded by nature, by plants, right? By that greenery, was so healing for me and energizing. It's like your batteries, right, on your phone. If the battery is running low, like, you need to charge it or it's not going to work properly. Same thing. That was like recharging my batteries, and it is for everyone. We all need nature. We were actually not meant to be living underneath and cooped up in four walls and closed windows and locked doors. Like, that's not what we are made for, right? We are actually supposed to be out in nature. And if you come from a place, like my family is from, being somewhere a lot warmer and being out like there, it's so much nature, right? So we need nature. We need greenery, right? We need to eat greens. We need to be around nature, plants, hearing, the birds and sounds like, the water. And if there's waterfalls where you are, or a river or something like that, a lake, just surround yourself with nature. Go outside, even just hearing the breeze, right? When there is, leaves on the trees, hearing the leaves rustling, all of that. Nature is so healing. I can't stress that enough. So get outside, get out into nature, do what you can to be around nature as much as possible, because it is so healing and re-energizing for you, okay, for everybody. All right. And it affects you on so many levels, mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. Okay. And so we do need to be pouring into all those areas of our lives and taking care of that for optimal health. All right, my loves. So I hope that you will get out into nature and start making it a regular habit to surround yourself in nature. And yeah, also eat more greens in your diet. All right, my loves. So thanks so much for being here. Don't forget to do all the things, like this video, comment down below, share my video and channel with others. I would truly appreciate you guys doing any number of these things. It really is the best way to support me, to help my channel to grow, and to get my messages out there. If you guys know me, you know that one of my biggest passions is to help as many people as I possibly can. And yeah, if you're new here, welcome. I would love for you to subscribe to my channel, be part of this ever-growing butterfly community, and also don't forget to hit the bell icon so you get notified of new videos as I post them. And if you are in the Northern Hemisphere, happy springtime. And as always, you guys, I wish you all peace, love, and light. Until next time, bye-bye.